So I want to talk about my Dune, but we're gonna have to talk about, of course, my Star Wars and the men's getting angry that women they're fighting too much, they're slapping Nazis too much, and they're just surviving. Guys, women in Star Wars, they're surviving.
Characters survived massive injuries.
Here's the thing.
That's funny.
Even me,
Without immediate medical attention, no.
Yeah.
Well, Darth Maul didn't, and that was stupid, and we already went over that. Vader did. Grievous did.
I wouldn't say that Vader had
isn't even an
immediate.
example.
I wouldn't say that
Well,
Vader had immediate.
Vader, it was like maybe a few hours, but and again, I've already said I'm not even a huge fan of that.
I'm not even gonna dignify the person. It's just another one of these moronic grifter YouTubers. And his height of complaint is that apparently a woman slapped a Nazi stormtrooper, and that made him all kinds of angry. But don't worry, Leia, yes, little Leia in Kenobi also made him very, very angry because she's just doing too much stuff, guys. Why is Leia doing all this stuff? Because, Star Wars is about feminist heroism. That's even on the record. Like, George Lucas talks about this quite a lot. Granted, Kenobi is flawed. I'm not saying it was flawless. I am not saying everything in Kenobi was great. I am not saying that. You can definitely be critical of Kenobi and even the way women were portrayed in Kenobi. But that's why we want to turn to Buffy, hopefully as a preview to Dune, because there it was a lot better, but yes, there was still a certain bias for the women's.
Following scene, Riley's mother figure meets the real Buffy once and for all.
We thought you were a myth.
Well, you were myth taken.
That's a great Espenson line, and Buffy's embarrassed "did I just say that" look is so human and relatable that I kind of want to hug her after. Here you can really notice Walsh's institutional hubris. She has the might of an advanced military around her, and Buffy has Mr. Pointy. Of course, the point here is she is profoundly oversimplifying Buffy. A stake is a tool. Buffy is the weapon. This season is all about science versus magic, or masculine energy versus feminine energy, which has been a
I think that sums it up very, very well. Yes, Buffy will always have this skewed bias for the feminine, the feminist, and the women's. And again, that doesn't give them an excuse not to write good stories or film it well or cinematography, so on and so forth. But if that is the baseline, you will know, for the most part, Buffy is safe. She may get injured, she may have struggles, but her dying permanently, anyway, is pretty weak. So you do know. Again, it's not 100% women do die. A lot of women die, but there is definitely a skewed record where men often are incompetent. Like, you take Giles, and I'm not that annoyed by this, but Giles is pretty tall. He's a little strong. He got beat up. He fell down so many times. He just comes off like a rag doll, like he's completely useless aside from his magic. That was a little frustrating. And I will admit to a certain bias. I really like Michelle Trachtenberg and the way she did Dawn. I don't hate Dawn as much as other people, but I will admit, Dawn's survivability was sometimes shocking. Like, she really should have died in a few scenes. So yes, there's definitely a skewed agenda. It is what it is. However, I don't think it's as bad as people say. But I will say, even when Buffy was really great, it was still sometimes shockingly stupid. So let's take a quick look at Helpless, and I will set it up. Essentially, Helpless is the Watchers will put Buffy to the test. They'll take away her powers. That's why it's comparable to Kenobi. She was facing a vampire, and it looked really, really bad. And this was a very excellent episode until the finale. And then it got really, really stupid. So Kralik was a very formidable opponent. Buffy was really being tested. Kralik has some thing with pills, like he needs pills. So she got holy water, and, he needs to drink with the pills. So she replaced the bottle of water with the holy water, and Kralik was so stupid, he just drank that water, and poof, he's gone, and you're like, wait, it's holy water. He's a vampire. Wouldn't he immediately notice? Like, he'd be like, oh my god, I'm drinking holy... Nope. He drank the whole thing, guys, and just killed himself, because he's stupid. So it was a pretty good episode. I would have given it a 9 out of 10. I'm forced to give it a 7.5, because that was so dumb. So it is okay to criticize women. It's fine to criticize Buffy, but you do have to be aware of the biases in the fiction, and that gets us to Dune, where Denis V has been very, very clear. He's been very explicit. This is going to be very pro-women's. It's all about the women's. If you thought there's not enough women's in part 1, don't worry. Oh no, don't worry. They're coming. There's a lot of them this time. We got a whole lots of women's this time with the Fremen, Bene Gesserit, Chani, Urulon. It's going to be packed with the women's. And again, Star Wars does make you nervous. I still think it's not as bad as people say, but yes, Star Wars is in a very problematic place. But we also have Buffy as a precedent. So we could go one of two ways. It could be Chani is going to be, really annoying and win all the time. Or it could be balanced like Buffy. Yeah, we know they're going to win. They're the good guys. We know Chani's going to win. We know Paul's going to win. But they could make it a very, very interesting obstacle she has to overcome. It'll be very cathartic to see her win with Paul. But I have no doubt Chani's going to be doing a lot. The women are going to be doing a whole lot. Not that nervous, but yeah, if you're a little nervous, that's fine. It's fine to be a little nervous. But I don't know, this whole thing where she slapped the stormtrooper. Why'd he go down? He's a Nazi. Why'd he go down? He's a Nazi. It's a very anti-Nazi fiction. Granted, Star Wars being Star Wars, it's contradictory. If you want more stability, more coherence, then watch Buffy. It's a much better fiction. It's way more consistent. But even Buffy failed. Fingers crossed Denis V takes down the Buffy path, but, even Buffy messed up. I don't know. I'm very hopeful, but yes, a part of me is a little nervous about what may happen with the women's in the Dune. I will admit that.